Hello guys, and here is the next episode with some of the most interesting urban development news from around the world. I make these episodes weekly, so subscribe to the channel not to miss the future content. And before we start, I'd like, as usual, to thank to all my amazing Patreon supporters. In Seattle, they opened a new public space called Overlook Walk, located where the Alaskan Way Viaduct used to stand, providing a new pedestrian connection between the city center and the waterfront. It bridges about 30 meters vertical gap between Pike Place Market and the waterfront, so now you can get there using a barrier-free paths and elevators. One of the elements of new space is the Bluff Walk, which includes a variety of local landscapes that imitate the plants and trees found in the mountains surrounding Seattle. The vegetation changes as you move from one elevation to another, reflecting the natural environment from grasses to shrubs, ferns, and other plants. Construction lasted from 2022 and costed around $70 million. Bangkok Expressway and Metro has signed a $202 million contract for the purchase of 21 additional 3-car subway trains and related equipment as a part of the Blue Line modernization project. The project also includes upgrades to the signaling system to increase train frequency and support more trains operating on the line. When the entire 36 kilometers Orange Line opens at the end of 2027, the number of passengers using the Blue Line is expected to increase by about 30%. Currently, Blue Line operate trains built by Siemens. Madrid is preparing to launch new automated metro trains which are scheduled to be operational by 2027. This project, presented for Line 6, aims to improve the quality of service and convenience for passengers. The city has allocated 450 million euros to purchase 40 modern trains, each of which can accommodate almost 1,400 passengers, which is 17% more than the current models. The 33% increase in speed is expected to reduce waiting times and shorten travel intervals. New trains produced by CAF promise 20% energy savings, making them more environmentally sustainable. The contract with CAF includes a 10-year maintenance plan to ensure efficient operation of the trains. Production of Melbourne's first G-Class trams has officially started at Alstom's plant in Dandenong. In total, $1.85 billion, I guess Australian ones, will be invested in the next generation trams project with the support of the Victorian government, which will allow the purchase of 100 low-floor Class G trams as well as a maintenance station in Maidstone. The new 25-meter trams will have 3 sections and increased capacity of 150 passengers, which is almost twice as many as the current high-floor trams. Each tram is equipped with onboard energy storage system that captures braking energy, reducing electricity consumption during peak hours. The first new trams are expected to begin testing on Melbourne's routes 57, 59 and 82 in 2025. Ontario's government is introducing legislation that will require municipalities to obtain provincial approval before removing traffic lanes to build new bike lanes. And Ontario Transportation Minister Prabjit Sarkaria announced that the plan would
bringing informed decision-making and oversight to process that is frankly out of control. You only need to look out the window in front of me on Bloor West to see the many drivers stuck in gridlock as a result. That is why our government is introducing legislation that, if passed, would require municipalities to receive provincial approval before removing traffic lanes to install new bike paths.
According to Sarkaria, the first phase of the new legislation will not require tearing up existing bike lanes. However, he said the province will also be asking municipalities to provide data on projects initiated in the last 5 years to check whether the province agrees. And later they announced plans to remove bike lanes on Bloor Street, Yonge Street and University Avenue in Toronto from bike lanes and restore them as motor vehicle lanes. He highlighted Toronto's plan to massively expand its bicycle network and said that some of the new lanes the city has installed were implemented during the pandemic when there was uncertainty about the future of traffic in the city. At the same time, Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow said that she doesn't support limiting the city's responsibilities. Currently, Toronto has a 3-year plan to build 100 kilometers of new or significantly modernized bicycle lanes by 2027.
A few moments later.
Ontario's transportation minister said he doesn't believe the city of Toronto's estimate that it would cost $48 million to remove bike lanes on 3 of the city's main streets, but he wasn't able to provide his own estimate. Meanwhile, in Slovakia, Transport Minister Jozef Raš is actively opposing bike lanes on the Danube embankment in the capital of Bratislava. I don't know, is this a kind of flash mob or something? What's going on here? He said that amendment to the road law came into force, which allowed to intervene if someone builds something on the road that threatens the traffic flow or its safety. The state expert supervision obliged the city to remove the curbs protecting the bike lane within 40 days and narrow it in several places within 90 days. As Raj justified the decision, the curbs were causing accidents with multiple drivers and the bike lane width in some places limited the road, which didn't meet technical standards. These bike lanes were installed on a busy section between the S&P Bridge and Shafarik Square last September. They are currently 3 meters wide, physically separated and painted red. According to the traffic analysis made by the city, the bike lanes on the embankment haven't caused any traffic apocalypse. Immediately after the changes were implemented, the average time it took to travel through the area during rush hour was only 1.5 to 2.5 minutes longer than it had been a year earlier at the same time. Meanwhile, in Lyon, they began reconstruction of Rue de Bonnel, which connects the Rhône embankment and Lyon Pardieu station. The works will include widening the sidewalk and creating a 3-meter-wide two-way bicycle lane, taking the space, oh my god, from the car lanes, separated from cars by a technical delivery zone. In addition, will be added 800 square meters of landscaping and planted 37 trees. The works are to be completed by the end of next year. And it is also impossible not to mention that Paris is restricting through traffic in the city center. This long-planned ban of private cars driving through the center of the French capital is the latest part of Mayor Anne Hidalgo's campaign to reduce pollution and congestion. The zone covers about 5.5 square kilometers in the center of Paris and includes such attractions as the Louvre and the Tuileries Gardens. So, since the 4th of November, only emergency vehicles, buses, taxis, people with limited mobility, and drivers who live or work in the area have been allowed to enter the zone. Access is also granted to the so-called targeted transport, like the people who need to, for example, visit a doctor, go to the store or the cinema, so in general it is still quite a lot of cars. Transit traffic is no longer allowed, so city officials expect a 30% reduction in traffic on the busiest streets in the designated zone, as well as a reduction in noise and improvement in air quality. Although the project was announced in May 2021, it took more than 3 years to implement. This was partly due to the delicate discussions with the Paris police prefecture, which is responsible for the control, and as a compromise, the zone is now also smaller than it was originally planned. And that's all the news for this time, so thanks for watching and hope to see you here next week.